Welcome to day 2 of our video challenge to create a sales video. So today is all about filming, and we're going to get stuck into it because we want to actually get our video up and published tomorrow. So that's the goal. So I'm just going to share my screen. Thank you to everyone, by the way, that took the time to post up and share and introduce themselves into the Facebook. It's just such a lovely way of meeting you all as well and understanding what your business is. And it's also really great to see your filming environment as well. So we'll look at that today when we get to the filming section, and then we can optimize that. The biggest thing I want to know, how did everyone go with their scripts yesterday? Do they feel confident that they 50% nailed it, 70%, anyone 100% ready to go? Oh, Adriana, you're sick in bed. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. You get well. Nolene is 100%. Yes. Ruth is 80%. Ruth, yours was really good, can I say? I don't think you were that far off. I was just like looking at a bit of your hook and doing a bit of switching around with yours. I thought that was really good. Meredith is 75%. Miriam, I think it's nearly 100%. And then Steph is 95. Awesome. So was that GPT the game changer to help you nail it? Yeah, it is a game changer for sure. So today, day 1, we did our script. Today's filming, tomorrow's editing. So as Mariah says,
I don't think so, honey. Listen, I can't with the overhead lighting. It's hideous light. The sun is okay if it's at sunset, and that'll be pretty because it's sunlight caressing your skin. Overhead lighting, I don't think so, honey. No. Please stop it. One more thing on overhead lighting, it makes me sick.
okay, that's a little bit of Mariah fun. One of the things that I love about Mariah Carey is that if you've watched any of her content online and watched any of her videos, there are lots of memes out there about her and lighting. And lighting is one of those things that can make us look fabulous or make us look terrible. And it's the difference of making our videos look more professional as well. So there's one thing I'm going to say when it comes to creating content, doesn't matter how bad your video quality is, to be honest, if you've got good audio, people will listen. If you've got bad audio, people will scroll on. So I want you to always remember that audio, number one, if you've got good audio. Now, our iPhones are pretty good these days. If I'm just doing a little shoot here like this, I can get away with not having a microphone for my everyday content. But if I want to repurpose that content, I want to use a microphone with it to elevate the content. The other thing I'm going to say for all those people that do Zoom coaching, can I just say, please don't use your little AirPods, because I presented in a masterclass yesterday, and the person had those little AirPods in, and I see this a lot of the time with online coaches, is that it's really, really hard to hear. It reverberates. It sounds really tinny and crackly. And the problem is with that is if you are presenting in a masterclass, it makes it really hard to repurpose content. If you are on somebody else's podcast as a guest, it makes it really hard to repurpose that content. So if nothing else, think about audio. And I'm going to talk about some different options with audio. You don't need to spend a lot of money on audio in order to get a little bit leveled up in your audio. But as Ron would know, being in podcasting, if you invest in good audio, that is my number one recommendation. Is that right, Ron? Are you with me on that? If you're in the room still?
Yes,
Because
100%.
yeah.
The thing is, you don't have to spend a fortune on a microphone, but at least if you got a USB microphone or an XLR microphone, it's just going to change your whole
Yep.
video, whole podcast, whole speech.
Yeah, I can hear it whenever you sit in the car and listen to a podcast. Have you noticed when you sit in the car, because the car is a beautiful soundproofing room, and all of a sudden you will listen to someone with really good audio, a really good microphone, and then somebody with I was listening to a podcast the other day, and they must have just been in a room with an interview with little lav mics, probably. I'll have to watch the video, but you could hear the room space, and it wasn't crispy audio. And I listened to it, but it would have elevated it so much more with good audio. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about talking on camera. So who are the people that love to talk on camera here? How much do you either enjoy or let's say confident on camera, talking on camera? Needs many attempts. Okay, so we've got a 0, we've got a 3. Meredith's 4. Yes, you are confident. Nolene, you're definitely, I'd say you're at 5 even. Ruth is a 3. We've got a 1, 5. Ron, absolutely. So we've got a really nice mix bag of people in the room with talking on camera. And look, here's my thing with, as much as I am an AI like junkie, you could say these days, I am all about authenticity. And apart from standing in front of somebody, having you talk on camera is one of the most powerful things you can do to build a relationship, a connection, and build trust with somebody. And trust, I know these words, it makes me cringe a little bit when you hear that know, like, and trust factor, but it is true. We have to connect with somebody. And the best way to do that is having that conversation on camera, which is why when we talk about our ideal avatar, our ideal audience, when I look at that camera lens, that's my person I'm seeing on the other end. I don't think of everyone else. I just think of my one person who I'm helping, like we're having a little chitty chat on FaceTime. For some reason, I sound overly official when I'm on camera. Oh, that's a great thing. Yes, I do too. If you watch my stories on Instagram versus my reels, I sound so different. And you're not alone in that. So there are techniques on how we can get around there. Using a teleprompter is a really good way to get you up confidently talking on camera. Now, I'm a person that resisted teleprompters over the years because I sounded very robotic when I spoke. But let me tell you, when it comes to talking on camera and getting that confidence, number one, it makes you sound more confident because you're not and it also minimizes your editing time. So I'm going to show you a couple of tricks on that today as well. And angles and movement, that's the other thing I'm going to talk to you about today, because how we frame ourselves determines our positioning of authority. For all of our beautiful coaches in the room, for all those people who are experts and want to position their thought leadership, we definitely don't want to be having our camera up here when we're talking. And I do see that because it diminishes your authority. Likewise, when I see people doing Zoom calls and they've got their laptops on their desk and they're looking down the camera, that's not connection. That's a really dominating stance. So we really want to be aware of our camera angles for talking head videos. The other thing is we are going to talk a little bit about B-roll today, but I don't want to focus that much on it. But I do want to show you how B-roll. And for those that don't know what B-roll is that supplementary footage that goes over your talking head video, but we use it more for short form content these days where people will just put B-roll up and use a voiceover. So I'm going to show you some examples of that. Let's jump in. We've got a bit to get through today. So one of the things when we create video content is we want to build emotion. We want to build connection. We want people to hear your story and have them go on a journey with you so that it becomes an element that they go, oh yeah, I can relate to that. I need that. I want that. So how we do that is we have what we call A-roll content. So A-roll content is our talking head video. B-roll content, as I just mentioned, is if I was talking and I was talking about microphones, I could actually just pick up my microphone and film the microphones, show you the microphones. That's B-roll. Then we have text and graphics on screen, and they're really important for helping tell stories. And I'm going to say that often when I see social media content, for example, is that they'll put up some content, but there's no context to it. So if you can use text, it helps with that storytelling. And when it comes to hooks as well, we want to make sure, and if anyone in the session yesterday when I was talking about how Google indexes your short form videos, those headlines are really important to give people an understanding straight up what your video is about. Graphics are really important. Remember, we're very visual people, and as visual people, if you can show what you're saying, it's really, really powerful as well. So those little graphic icons, that's why infographics work really well. If you're on LinkedIn, infographics are like, so powerful. And then we have music. I've got a video on my Instagram Reels which shows a beautiful fireplace crackling along, and then we've got a couple of different music beds to take you in that journey of the crackling fire. And then I put something that was really, really like obscure, like the Muppets or something on there. And all of a sudden it's like you can see the difference of going how music can take us on a journey. So if you're just doing B-roll content and you put on a really good piece of music, it can make your video go viral essentially, because and I do this all the time when I'm making content for my clients, is that I probably spend too much time on the music trying to find the right music sometimes because I know what an impact it has. In our talking head videos, however, I'm going to encourage you not to use music today, because unless you're actually doing a narrative voiceover style video. And the reason is because sometimes when we do music is that it can overpower the actual video. Okay. And somebody sent a video to me. I've been interviewing video editors lately, and somebody had sent me a sample recently with like corporate soundtrack music on it. And it was just like, please don't. No. So we can use music today, but I would say keep the volume to 1. All right, so we're going to talk a lot about how to use our cameras today. When I went through all the comments from yesterday, I was like, I really enjoyed hearing what everyone did. And I can see that you all have an offer. Like, I was looking at all the people that from ADHD to presentation coaches to Facebook ads experts to, podcast experts. You all have this amazing expertise, and you all have an offer here to sell. And the biggest thing that I saw you struggling with is the need to clearly communicate that. Would you say that? The thing about when it comes to this, and I read all those comments, I was like, what do we need help with? And you were like, all of it. Did anyone say all of it? 100%. Those key messages. And the thing about when we are going and we're doing today as well, I want you to be thinking about helping you get on camera doesn't end today. I want you to think about, how do we continue this journey? Because I've worked in marketing for a long time and I'm going to say marketing isn't a one and done thing. It's not a destination. It is a journey for that reason. So when we are learning to communicate our expertise clearly, we need to have strategic content. So today is, as I mentioned, the bottom of funnel of content. And then it is important to build that connection over time as well, and build a new audience. Because at the end of the day, the reason why we're doing this sales video is, number one, so we generate leads and we generate money. Now, a few years ago, I was working in a winery and we had pallets of this wine, and it was great wine, right? It was fantastic wine, but it got overshadowed by everything else in the warehouse in the brand, right? And it was a variety. It was Merlot. Who was drinking Merlot? No one. And anyway, we were like, I'm going to make a video. And that one video sold, because we articulated why Merlot was overshadowed and why it is an underestimated wine, and we did a story on it. And that one video cleared that whole warehouse of stock. I was hooked from then about making video, because I saw the power of just one video can basically make us thousands and thousands of dollars. So that's what I want for you today when we get to the end of the day. So the thing, what I also noticed, and you can tell me if this is true, when you're struggling to do it on your own, you waste so much time. And you'll probably go, yeah, Marlene's nodding. It's like you can waste so much time trying to figure it out on your own. When I was first learning video, I used to sit up all hours and watch YouTube, and you can waste a lot of hours trying to figure it out on your own. So for me, it was really important to have a mentor and somebody that was around me. I spent 5 hours on the phone to my mentor the other day, who I hadn't spoken to in a while, because we just were like blah, 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 all about video stuff. And the other thing about it, it's costing you money. So if you're not putting yourself out there with video, it is costing you money. One of the things, I guess, from you, like, you're putting up ads for everyone all the time. What were you doing content creation wise before you jumped into Content Catalyst?
Nothing for myself. I definitely wasn't consistently doing anything. So I just would ad hocly post stuff. So yeah.
So now, Stacey, you do lives. You've got a YouTube channel.
Lives. I've got a YouTube channel. I'm posting weekly, not posting weekly, posting weekly, yes, but I am emailing weekly. That was always on my to-do list, to be consistent with that. And all the AI tools that I've, been given from you have really helped with all of that, setting all of that up. And I've got 2 VAs, so they follow the system and we get the content out now.
Amazing. Thank you. And I love watching your journey as well, because after each one of our Content Catalyst sessions each week, Stacey will go and actually do it, and then she'll post it up and tag us. And I'm like, yes, she did it. But that's the only way we get better. So before we jump in, I'm not going to muck around, because I'm like, let's dive straight into filming. But I just want to ask you, what if you could actually save time? I know a lot of you are using AI, but I'm going to say, what if you had more of those assistants like I gave you yesterday? What if I actually gave you a system and a formula to create a hero piece of content and repurpose it really easy across platforms to increase your discoverability, and you had that technical support. So if anyone does want that's further support, Content Catalyst is my online community, and that's where we have those strategic solutions for you. These are a couple of our members days. You'll actually see there's not a lot of members in the group today, and that's because we're actually doing an in-person sales video day on Tuesday, and we're actually doing our blueprint AI intelligence system on Monday. And Stacey's in Queensland and couldn't join us. She tried. She's got 4 kids, so she couldn't get here, unfortunately. But each quarter, I actually do in-person days, and this was our goal planning day that we did in January. We did a content day up here on, that was a Content Catalyst first birthday, and we went out and took lots of video. I took the drone up here to the big hill up the top, and we took some drone shots, and we got lots of content. Actually, Miriam, I've actually got one of our members coming down on Monday from Queensland. Yeah. So anyway, we're going to jump into that. I'm going to answer your questions later, but I just wanted to show you that this is what we're here today for, because I love spending 3 days with you, but at the end of the day, I'm not going to fluff it and say I'm just here to give away free everything. I am here to show you that Content Catalyst is your strategic solution if you want ongoing momentum, focus, and support. So all right, let's jump in. I'm just going to jump in, and we're going to go straight to, do you remember the treadmill person? So the treadmill person, we want to build curiosity today. So that is why our hook is so important, right? So we have to grab people's attention. Even when we're doing long form content on our website, we still have to get their attention. So I had the curiosity, interest, desire, but I haven't made the call to action. So today, when we're building our story, I really want you to think about what is going to grab people's attention and make them buy. Now, this was an example of using that storyboard. I know a lot of you said that that was really helpful yesterday. Most videographers will use a storyboard. I'm just pausing everything because basically it helps us to piece together the visual aspect. Now, today, if you are sitting at your desk and you are filming in a static environment, that's fine, because today is all about done is better than perfect. I want you to remember that. So I want you to think about that, because at least if you can talk straight to camera, we can always overlay B-roll to show things. Nolene, you were standing outside yesterday. I loved your backdrop. I thought that was amazing. Now, there's a lot that I can talk about, different filming techniques and things, and this is where we get into a lot of that inside the membership. But essentially, this is where I want to show you, this is a pro version of Shopify using the formula that we used yesterday. So what I want you, I'm going to play this video for you, and I don't expect you guys to do this, but I just want to show you that this is the same formula, but done in a very visual, high energy, non-selling sales video. Okay.
Jess wanted to start a business when something surprising happens.
Today, I'm going to teach you how to crochet.
She started crocheting, like a lot. And her friends noticed.
Jess, you need to sell those.
So she signed up for Shopify and started building her business.
Yes, I love that.
And after a lot of hard work, this happened.
Oh my gosh, I just made my first sale!
You see, every 28 seconds, a new business gets its first sale on Shopify.
We got ding!
That's over 3,000 a day. So when you're ready to bring your idea to life
And become your own boss.
build it on Shopify.
Okay, that was a pretty cool ad. I feel inspired to actually do my own version of that, to be honest. I think we might set that as next month's challenge, because that's a great narration video. What do you reckon, Stace? We've been doing narration videos at the moment. Yeah. Okay, so I just want to break down what you just saw in that video and what you're going to film today, right? So we started with the hook, and that was Jess wanted to start a business, and we had some text on screen. So straight away, we knew the context of what the video was going to be about. Kind of, did we? Then we focused on what the problem was, and the problem wasn't necessarily a problem. It was more an aspiration. Is the wine fairy here? Where are you, Kat? So Kat, your business is very aspirational.
Thank you.
Yeah, Ruth is also, I don't know whether you're still doing your chicken coop, designing chicken coops. They're very aspirational. So not necessarily a problem, but very aspirational. Those misconceptions, it wasn't so much that she had a misconception. It was just her friend saying, you need to sell those. The misconception in that instance was that, well, it's just a hobby of mine. I don't know whether people will buy my things, right? And then the solution was she just signed up to Spotify. So we started her business. What not to do? Again, it wasn't a really here's what not to do. It was just like there was a lot of hard work. So what not to do was give up. Okay. And then we had the effective strategy. Oh my God, I made my first sale. Whenever you're doing, especially anyone that does any kind of food videos, for example, is showing a reaction shot is so, so powerful. That's why a lot of those creators online will take a bite of their food and show you their food straight up. Providing evidence was, well, you can see every 28 seconds a new business gets a new sale, and we 3,000 people a day. That's providing evidence, social proofing. And then that call to action, it wasn't a strong call to action like buy it now because we've got a sale on. It was like, when you're ready, we can help you build it. So it was still a call to action without it being a really full-on sales video. So that is why I really wanted to share this with you today, because I'm just like, I really enjoyed the story itself. All right, camera reluctance. I want to talk about this because this is what we're about to go and film shortly. I've spent years, if you look at my phone, I've probably got over 30,000 videos in my phone alone. That's not including what I've already downloaded, dumped, deleted, and I took on my camera. So I've filmed a lot of people, and over that time, I found there was the same things coming up about this. Being self-conscious, having that fear of judgment as well, of going, especially when we're starting out on social media, what are people going to say? The anxiety to perform and the lack of control. Lack of control can often be if other people are filming you. If you're doing interviews, for example, on media, that can come up. Does anyone relate to any of those points? All, one of them, any in particular?
I've just recently had surgery and I've got a big scar on my neck, like I've been in a knife fight that I lost, and I can't wear anything up against it, which is why I have a loose scarf. Can I just ask,
Yep.
can you see it on video?
I couldn't see it.
Anybody see it?
I honestly couldn't see it.
Okay, because that has held me back.
And thank you for sharing that, Nolene, because I'm going to say, as we get older, we don't look like what we did when we were 20, and we definitely, I know my clothes don't fit me like I used to, and it's certainly something that I'm more conscious of myself. Like the other night, Joe, thanks for sharing that. The other night, I went to film and my face just went red, bright red, like it was just bright red, and that's just what happens to me. That's why the cold weather actually does look good for me these days. Okay, making sure my camera angle is flattering. Can I just say that when you're filming, sitting here like this as we are now, it's a lot easier to get away with things. But when we're actually sitting back and filming ourselves, then that's when we get more judgmental of ourselves. And can I just say, when other people are filming us as well, like there are certain angles that I will definitely be mindful of because I look at my, some videos that, take them, I'm like, don't do that. Okay, so here's what I'm going to say about all of this is that when it comes to being self-conscious and body image, can I just say that when you think about that one person who you're helping, they're not going to see your scars. They're not going to see your red skin. They're going to hear your message because your message is more powerful. As far as fear of judgment goes, and one of my dear friends, she just incredible business, but she just had this constant fear of ridicule, that people would like say nasty things. And I'm like, I did lives for her. I'd film lives with her every week. And I'm like, but you're helping so many people with skin conditions. And that anxiety to perform, we're actually going to use the teleprompter to avoid that. Now, here's what I know after filming lots of people over the years. I generally find that these are the personalities that come out. Terrified Teresa absolutely does not want to go on camera. Give it a go, Gary. Walks in. How you going? Yeah, no worries. I'll have a go. Wing it, Whitney. Generally, they love to have someone there to give them a little bit of a nudge, and it's helpful to have somebody on the other hand of the screen. And then you have perfectionist Penelope. So can anyone relate to any of those camera styles that you might have? I'm definitely Penelope. I'm recovering, Penelope. Give it a go, Gary. Yes. Penelope. Yeah, absolutely. I love that. All right. So here's the thing. Last year, now Angela was here yesterday. I don't know whether she's in the room now, but one of the things that Angela did the challenge with us last year, and she delivered, she ticked everything off the list, and she got into the Facebook group after she filmed like the session from today, and she threw it up in the Facebook group for feedback. And her coined response was Rough Enough Russell. So now we have a fifth persona of Rough Enough Russell. So I'm going to ask everyone today to channel their inner Russell and just give it a go and just put it out there, because today we're doing it messy. We're giving ourselves permission to do it messy. We're all in this together, and we are all going to make a video today. I don't care how bad it is, right? So we don't have to be Spotify, like they spend thousands of dollars on production team. We're just going to be Rough Enough Russell. All right, so let's talk about how we get confident on camera. Standing up. I actually have to sit down when I talk because I actually get really excited and I speak too fast apparently. So I generally sit down in presentations like this. But I'm going to say that if you tend to talk slower, if you maybe are a bit more nervous speaker, if you stand up, it will bring up your energy, and the camera dulls down your energy. Okay, so they say about putting on 10 pounds or whatever, it actually just sucks more energy. Okay, so I want you to over exaggerate when you're talking, because by the time it goes to air, it will be just about right. Good lighting. I'm going to talk about how we can set up good lighting, even if you don't have lighting. I want you to think about one person. I used to have a little headshot, a little cutout headshot for one of my clients, and I used to put it on her camera. So every time she went live, or every time she pressed record, she would look at that person and feel connected of who we serve, because then we don't think about ourselves and how we look and all those things. The other thing I'm going to say is that block colors serve you best. If you are filming, avoid busy patterns, small patterns. Bigger patterns are okay. Stacey, you've got these gorgeous tops. You look great in there, your brand colors. But if you've got fine pattern clothing, stay very clear of stripes. Stripes strobe on camera. And I just recommend staying away from that. The other tip I'm going to give you is that if you are recording a video that is going to be used all year round, an evergreen video, try not to wear any bulky jumpers, or Joe's in Townsville, so it doesn't matter, because it's always hot up there all year round. But if I'm doing a film shoot for clients, I generally get them to wear a thin long sleeve top, generally a long sleeve top or a blouse in neutral colors or brand colors, whatever, depending on if it's people or not. And the reason is I have so many stripes in my wardrobe. Thick stripes are okay, Meredy, but thin stripes strobe. So just be aware of that. Some sort of tweed fabrics, that herringbone stuff, that can also strobe as well. So just have that awareness. Like Christmas clothes. Yes, exactly. Unless that's your theme for your season. So if I'm filming a winter campaign here in the Hunter Valley, I'm going to get people to wear their snuggly coats and jackets because we're by the fire. But if you are doing an evergreen campaign, just wear clothing that doesn't dictate the season, because you will get longer life out of it. And bright colors that are your brand, that you feel confident in, make you pop. And for the ladies, I'm just going to say, whenever I don't put my makeup on, if I I'll go, I don't want to record a video, bit of lips, and all of a sudden I'm in the mood. All right, let's talk about gear. So tripods. Does anyone have a tripod? Has anyone got a tripod? Chuck it in the comments. Does anyone not have a tripod? I'm just going to say that no, but okay, I don't. Yes, I've got all three. Okay, cool. So for those that don't, I'm just going to start with the basics. You can go to Kmart and spend $15 on a little tripod selfie stick. The legs come out like this, and you can put your phone on it, and it goes up, and you can stick it on the desk. Okay, so that's one option. I like these, and you'll always find I have one of these in my handbag. The other option you can have is this little baby here. Again, Kmart, $25, people. That I can put my mobile phone on, and I've actually got one with my camera on my DSLR camera on at the moment as well. All right, so microphones. Ron's got microphones. Yes, he does. He's got the microphones. What I want to know first, before we even get into gear, who's filming on their camera, on their phone rather? Is there anyone filming on their webcam? Yes, on phone. Yep, so mainly phones today, yeah? Computer, webcam. Okay, so one of the things I want to say when it comes to filming on webcams, majority of people I see, remember I was saying about that looking up thing? That is the biggest thing that I see with people that film on webcams, is that they have them sitting up on their monitors and they end up looking up like this. And so when it comes to positioning your authority, you just lose it and you end up with all this headspace up the top. So framing is really important with your webcam. Now, one of the things that I'm going to say is that if you have a webcam, and I'm just going to show you this now, that little tripod that I showed you, a lot of your webcams have a little screw thread on them. There you go. That's got a little screw thread on them. And so you just check on your webcam, because what I'd recommend is, for this purpose, take it off its webcam and stick it on its tripod. So then you can just put your webcam on here like this, and then you can position it in front of you, and then you're not looking up at the camera. So that's my tip there. If you are recording, I'm going to show you some settings on your phone to get a 4K quality out of your phone in a sec. So we get majority of people are using the phone. Anyone using a DSLR camera? Is anyone using like fancy pants camera? No, we're all using our phone or webcam. Okay, cool. That makes it easy. So tripod. If you don't have one of these, you can duck out and grab one. It's definitely worth the investment if you're going to be a lead generating content creator. And then we're going to talk about microphones. Now, here's the thing about microphones, as I mentioned before. If we're sitting about here, you don't really notice much of a difference. But when we stand back from the camera, you will start to hear a difference. Does anyone who has a microphone and who doesn't have a microphone? You've got two microphones. I love it. So I have a video gear guide, and in there I've got gear on the go, and I've got gear for your office. As Ron just said then, is that if you go to Kmart, the cheapest option you can get is a $39 gaming microphone, okay, with a boom arm like this, and you plug it into your computer. And if you're going to be a podcast guest, for example, that is better than nothing, right? And it's like, if you aim to be on other people's podcast, at least invest $39 into that. Okay. So that is what I can say. And you can just pop it on your desk. If you were out and about, and again, I'm talking about budget gear to top end gear, you can go to Kmart these days and you can get little microphones like this for $20, and they just plug in to your phone. And you got two microphones in here, and that's enough to get you going. So that is the other thing. I'm just looking at comments here. I have one in my office though. Cool. Yeah. Mid-range ones. I'm a massive fan of wireless microphones, but Rode is my go-to. So if you are thinking about investing into audio, I love Rode. They're an Australian company. Ron, are you on that too? Yep, same. You're the best. Okay. The reason why I'm a fan of Rode is, again, if you're speaking on stage and you want to do speaking on stage and they've got a PA system, you can plug these little babies into their PA system and set up your camera so you can document what you do. Remember, we were talking about documenting what you do so you can use it for B-roll later. So you can use the Rode and you can plug it into their PA system and set up your camera. And then all of a sudden you've now got content that you can put on your website. You can then make content out of it. So these are really, really powerful, and they're just good quality. So they're definitely worth the investment. Lighting. Now, lighting is another thing that I'm going to say is that when you're starting out, most people go for the ring lights. Let's talk about lighting quickly and get an idea. Are all these in my ebook? Yes, they are, Meredith. I've got everything listed in there. I went to update it a couple of weeks ago. It was 3 pages, and then I just went nuts and I ended up with a 20-page flip booklet explaining everything. You got gear on the go and you got gear in your office, so you can have. Okay, so Stacey's got a ring light. Has anyone else got lighting? So I have a ring light and a large overhead light, diffuse lighting. Okay, so remember Mariah? Turn off your overhead lights, ladies and gentlemen, because lighting is when you have overhead lights right on you, you'll end up with like bags under your eyes. So that's one thing to note. So Nolene, you're going to be filming outside. I'm just going to say natural light is always going to be the best. And as Mariah said, sunset light is called golden hour. It's the hour before sunset or the hour after sunrise. That's called golden hour. And cinematographers will chase that light for the best lighting because they know it's the best. So if you're thinking about recording your video, I don't have sunlight here today, but I'm just going to say that if you have no lights, go outside, avoid the middle of the day because you've got that harsh light like an overhead light of the sunlight. Just, yeah, try and find a spot that you don't have all those shadows over you. What else? In your studio office, so we have what's called a 3-point lighting setup. First of all, I'm just going to address the type of lights that we've got. Now, ring lights, for those people that use ring lights, most people put ring lights stark against their face like this. Most people plant it right on their face like this. Now, if you're a beauty influencer on TikTok, that works. But everyone else, I want to say, get your light and I want you to tilt it just up a little bit to the side. So we just want it up a little bit to the side so it comes in over it on an angle and it will look more softer and it will look, you won't look like stark. We want a little bit of mooding in our lighting. So that's one thing. If you're looking at investing into lighting, softbox lighting is always going to be your best friend because it will make you look so much better. You can get cheap softbox lighting. I used it for years. I've got a big honeycomb grid just above me right now, which I'll show you. This little light was like a little pocket light. I freaking love it. I can change the lighting on it. And this is a great little power light. I can't believe because it's got a diffuser, it's got a built-in diffuser on it. But again, you don't want to put it like this. You just want to have it up on an angle. That's always the thing with any of your lighting. Now we're going to talk about a 3-point lighting system. When I looked at people's setups yesterday, oops, let's just go back for a sec. When I looked at people's setups yesterday, one of the things that if you have a light behind you, as in, who was it that had the light behind them? Gabe, I think you had some windows behind you. What I'm going to say, we'll bring it up on screen. When you've got lighting, big windows behind you, or the view, this is another thing. If you've got a beautiful ocean view behind you, for example, you're going to be washed out up front. So the light at the front of you needs to be brighter than the light at the back of you. So if you're filming with a big window behind you, you're going to have brighter light up here. So the best thing to do when I start with lighting is start in the dark, and then I want you to have a key light. That key light is the one light that is your brightest light. Now, if you're using natural light from a room, I want you to position yourself so you sort of comes in just on an angle a little bit like this, yeah? I already can see an improvement with Stacey's just by you've moved things around, I can see it. So we want to get our light, and I'm using this little one for an example, right? So we want to this is our key light. That's our brightest light. Now it's a nice overcast day and you'll see the difference. I'm going to turn my light off. Okay, so I'm in the dark completely now. All right, so my biggest, brightest light is my fill light. So even if you've only got a ring light, people, just position it on one side, a little bit like that on a 45-degree. If you've got glasses, you might need to, or anyone that's got glasses on, you might need to just bring it a little bit further. Okay, can you see how I've got the light on my face now coming in from that side? That's this light here. That's the key light. You can see that that's okay, but now what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn on my field light, and I don't have a remote control for that one yet. It's coming. I just bought a whole lot of stuff. Okay, so these are manual turn on lights. If you're buying any gear, look for remote apps. Okay, so now I'm going to put on a fill light. See the difference now? Just fills in that shadow. But see how it's looking a bit dull behind me? The best thing you need is a little backlight. So that's why I've got a little lamp in the corner. So I'm going to turn that on. So nothing expensive here, people. Like I've literally got a lamp in the corner there. So if you have big screens and you have a webcam that you're getting that reflection, try putting it on dark mode. That's my other tip. And your backlight just can be a lamp. If you've got other lamps, so I'm just going to now put on a hair light. When you record, the more light, the better. So now that's my setup. I've now got another little lamp on the floor that I've just pointed up so I get a little bit of definition. And that's what we call a 3-point lighting system. When you are using these lights, and Ron's just asked, when do we use warm light and cool light? So without getting too technical for everyone right now, you'll notice that your light globes will have like a warm glow and a light white, stark white light. You know, when you buy your light globes, essentially you want daylight. This little light, for example, I'll sit at about 5,000 Kelvin. I'll just show you the difference. Sorry, I'm just trying to look at this light and change it. There it is. Okay, So that's like that golden light. Can you see how it's changed? Like it's like a golden light. You don't want it necessarily golden light because you will look a little bit. So that's about 2.5 Kelvin. That's daylight. So that's like 5,000. So you don't want stark white if you are recording, but if you are going to buy lights and you're going to invest in lights, go for a bi-colored light. Because even cheap ring lights will have like a two-tone. So you don't want it to look golden. You just want it to look like clean light is probably the easiest non-technical way I can say it. Ron, we can have a chat about that if you want to do a little tech check later. All right, the other thing I'm going to say, yes, Belinda.
Sorry, can I just ask that little square one that you've been using, could you use that instead of the halo light, the ring light, or are you using that more for?
I would 100% use that as I bought it because I needed a light, because often I'll sit out in my dining room table and I'm like, oh, I just want to jump on and grab something, or even in a hotel room or whatever.
Yeah.
This light, it's a cracker. Like it is so bright and it's got different colorings as well. So I can use it as an accent light. I made a reel about it recently and it changes colors. It's magnetic. You can literally, if you're at the gym and you're working out, you can magnetic that to your workout bar.
Yeah, because I just find the ring lights are quite flimsy and
yeah. Look, if you're on a budget, I would recommend just getting a basic softbox light set up, because if you wear glasses, it's so much more gentler on your complexion, but it's also easier when you wear glasses. You'll always be fighting light reflections with ring lights. Not a fan of them, but done is always better than perfect. So that's why I don't recommend them. I'd recommend something else besides that. Okay, so let's have a look at backdrops. Everything's in my gear guide there, iPad. I don't know who iPad is. Sorry, your name. You just need to update your name. Okay, so clean your backdrop. So less is more with your backdrop, can I just say. Merida, you showed us some great backdrops yesterday. That green artwork that you had was stunning, can I just say. The only thing I'm going to say with this is that come off the wall. If you want your videos to look more professional, don't stand flat up against your wall. Try and get as much gap as you can between you and your wall. Ideally, that's why I say 2 to 3 meters away is ideal. You want depth behind you and you want to separate you from the background. If you want your videos to look more professional, this is what we do. So,
okay, so because obviously we have a couch. As I say, we live in a small apartment, so the whole width is probably 4 meters, but so just maybe like, I don't know, sit on a chair or something, or just play around with it just to get some separation.
Yeah, absolutely. So the other thing, do you remember over COVID when everyone was in their bedrooms filming and they were on Zooms filming and they had their bed in the background? I just wanted to like yell through the phone going, Kat's happy with hers. Excellent. Turn your camera so you're looking at your bed, right? So turn around the other way so you've got that separation behind you. That's 100%. Yeah, for sure.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, so the next thing when we do our script, I want you to read it out loud. So just because what it spat out yesterday, whenever I use teleprompters, often especially when I'm working with clients, we put it into the teleprompter and then we read it out loud, and you'll just tweak a little words because you want it to sound natural as. I want you to say it out loud 3 times. Like, I know that sounds like, oh, that's a lot. I'm like, say it out loud 3 times because you will read it through. And the first time is just making sure that the wording is natural. And the second and third time, it's like, oh yeah, that's like, okay, I've got the pace now. So that's my recommendation. And I say that because actors typically spend for every a minute of filming, they will spend an hour rehearsing. So when you go, oh, I've got to read my script out like 3 times and play with different angles if you're not quite sure as well. Okay, we're talking about framing now.
So now
but then your camera can also be a sign of lack of. Okay, so remember before we were talking about, I want you to get your eye level. So for anyone, now we are over time, I apologize, but if you have to go, I understand. For those that have an iPhone, we're going to start with you first. So I'm just going to share my screen on my phone and we're going to do some optimization. All right. So for those that have got an iPhone, I want you to go to your settings and I want you to go to camera Click on camera. And I'm going to share with you what I film in. Now, because I film in the most optimized quality, it means that you will chew up a little bit more memory. But again, I'm after content that I want to repurpose. So I record in 4K. And so if you go to record, so I'm going to record in 4K. Now your phone probably looks like it's on that one or maybe even that one. The reason why I choose 4K at 60 frames per second is that you'll just get this beautiful, clean, crisp quality out of your phone. And if you're shooting B-roll and you're shooting B-roll at night, you can slow it down and speed it up. Okay, so that's my one tip there. So if you do that, the next one I'm going to share with you is go over to record slow-mo and click that. Your phone probably says 240 frames per second, which means it's really slow. So I'm going to change it to 120. 120 frames per second gives you that beautiful, creamy, smooth B-roll. And I use, anyone that knows any of my content, I'll always shoot a little bit of B-roll in 120 frames per second. Everything, if you walk, everything looks good as a strut in slow-mo. If you're pouring a cup of coffee, whatever, I don't care. Like everything looks better in slow-mo. I don't usually generally use a lot of cinematic mode, but if you are going to use it, because on my camera, I can only do like 24 frames, which is what I would use. Now, the next thing I'm going to get you to do is format. It doesn't really, like, you can just go high efficiency there, but I'm just going to go down a little bit and we're going to go to our grid lines, to composition, and I want you to turn on your grid lines. So you're just going to tap that. Now what that's going to do, it's going to help us with our framing to make sure our eyes are at the right place. So when we film, we're actually going to get inside the shot and be able to repurpose it correctly. The only other thing I'm going to say, for anyone that's got a phone, and this every time I take a photo of someone's iPhone, it's always in a little, like a square photo almost. If you go in and make it 9:16, make it the whole length, you can just preserve your settings in here and it'll preserve the camera. But for video, that's all you need to do. So now we've got a camera that is 4K. Now I'm just going to open up my camera. You can look at how dirty my screen is. Okay, there I am. Hello. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is, you can see that those grid lines are on the camera there. The best framing that I can do, I'm just going to change. Now, here's the thing. If you're outdoors and you're not quite sure which is the best light, just turn around like this, and then until you see where it's the best light. I'm just trying to move where my microphone is. Okay, so then what we want to do is you want your eye level to be on this line here. Okay, so eyes here. And I want you, because we're filming this way, remember we're going to film horizontal. If you are filming for your website and you want to repurpose it to social media. If you're just doing a social media video, Meredy doesn't have a website yet, so you might just want to do like social media only, so you could do that. But for this instance, we're going to go out here. Now, one of the things I'm going to say to you, I've just pulled my tripod apart, is I want you to go back as far as you possibly can to give you a little bit of space. I need to put my phone down. Hang on a sec. Because when we film, when we chop in, can you see these vertical lines here and here? If I'm too close up front and I go to repurpose the content and snip in, then I'm going to be like this at the camera. So we want to be as far back as we can. So that's the other thing to note. I'm just going to stop sharing for a sec. So our eyes need to be up here on this line. Now, as I mentioned, if you're sharing it to your website or YouTube, you want to start with your long form 16:9. Then when you go to do vertical video, then you're going to repurpose it here. So therefore you need to be framing yourself up so you can crop in without it being close up here like this. All right, so get back as far as you can with the camera. Get your eyes up to this line so you can still put text on screen. See how I'm a bit too close in there? If I go up, I'm a little bit too close in because I can't put it headline above my head. So you need to come back a little bit more. So if I was to film now, the best thing that you can do, and I'm going to say one thing that helps you build trust quicker than anything is if people can see your hands. Can I show that last bit again? Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, it was just the last bit you shared when you were sharing your phone, and you went into about preserving
Settings.
something. It just it was just that.
Yeah, okay. I'll
That
come
was
back
all.
to that
Just
only because
no worries.
you only need that for
I know,
photos.
not for
But not for video.
gotcha.
More
Understand.
importantly, I want you to come back as far as you can so people can see you from here to here. That is ideal. Okay. So that way, when we go to crop in, when we repurpose content, you're not close up like this. Because if I go to put a text on screen, it's going to be too high up. It's not enough room. So you just need to come back a little bit. Okay, so here's the thing. When it comes to using our cameras, our phone's pretty good these days, front camera, pretty good. Makes it easier to see, but your back camera is always going to be the best quality. Makes it harder to look at a teleprompter from the back, but it is much better to record at the back. So here's another little trick of mine. I picked up this little selfie monitor. Has anyone seen these? And it reflects your screen and it just goes on the back of your phone like that. It's really cool. But for this purpose, just use your front-facing camera, especially when you go to use a teleprompter. Is it worth it? Yeah, I'm really loving it, Leisha, to be honest. They're not a must-have, but they're a handy-have for sure. All right, so teleprompters. I'm going to share with you the teleprompters that I use on our phone. The one that I use that's voice activated is this app here. Now, it is a paid app. It's about $30 a year or something like that. But the reason why I like this teleprompter is because it's voice activated. So it's really good if you're doing podcast episodes and you want to know that verbatim hook, that word for word intro, but then you just want bullet points to talk. This is really powerful because you can just have your bullet point, start talking, and then it'll pick up from where you left off. So I really like this voice activated one. They have them for your teleprompters and things as well. I've got a MacBook and an iPhone, so I can actually mirror this teleprompter and use my good camera. CapCut is the teleprompter I use day to day, and I'm going to show you that. And that's probably the one that I would recommend today. Edits app, Instagram Edits app has a teleprompter in there, but it doesn't shoot horizontal video. So you can only do video that's vertical for social media. But CapCut I can use horizontal. So they're my two picks as far as teleprompters go. I'm going to show you how. Oh, the other thing when you are filming this way as well, you need to get your text right over this side because otherwise you won't look like you are reading. You look like you're reading your teleprompter. So just know that. You just got to adjust the scroll over that side and look in that corner. Sometimes I'll even put a little bit of blue tack or something or a little like dot on there so I can see where I look. If you are using your webcam, there is a teleprompter for Mac, Word, what are they called? PCs. That's a free one as well. It's called Teleprompter Mirror, and you can just download the free software and then you can put it on your computer screen. So that's another option as well. All right, I'm going to do a quick demo on your teleprompter and then film away, ask questions away. I'm just going to share my screen again. Okay, so I'm just actually gonna, so if you are using CapCut, you're just gonna go up to the app here. Now, this is available on the Pro version, I should also say, but if you are going to be creating content, it's one of the best $15 well, I paid $120 for the annual subscription. So it was one of the best investments that I had. So go up here to Teleprompter. And then you just click on this pencil here. Now I just have the script in my notes. So I just click that. And there's my script that I'm just going to do. Okay, now because I'm just going to put you down for a second because I've got to put my little doobie up. So I'll use this one because I lost my little attachment. Okay, so give me a second. So as soon as I put that on my teleprompter here, and I'm just using this little selfie stick, just need to line it up. Okay, so then what I recommend doing, and I know this is sideways right now, but trust me, it's okay when it comes out. Click 3 minutes on here. Okay, and then you can, on my screen, I know it looks sideways for you, but on my screen, it's up the right way. It's just because I'm sharing screen that it looks like this. So then all I need to do is I can press this little button here if I want to adjust the speed and the size of the font. If you're like me and can't see much, you need bigger font. And you just click that in there. If you click this little bit here, you can move it around. Okay, so, and it's stuck. So I've moved it over there. Okay, so that looks good for me. Okay, and then literally all I need to do, I like CapCut is probably my favorite teleprompter apart from the other one I showed you. Even though it's not voice activated, it still seems to work at a good pace. So all I'm then going to do is go there. You're losing clients every single day you don't post a video. People buy from, okay, so I'm just going to let that go. I've made a mistake, so I'm just going to go back to here, click it off, confirm, and delete. So let's go again. I might just slow that down a little bit. Slow it down. Cool. Press go. You're losing clients every single day you don't post a video. Now, I just want to note as well, because on this teleprompter, I can't actually see my grid line. So I just want you to make sure that you are standing back as far as you can when you are doing it this way. Okay, so let's just pretend that I've read all that script out. I'm going to click that blue little tick here. And then I'm just going to press save and we can then get it ready for editing it tomorrow. So that is now saved in our projects and that's all you have to do. And tomorrow I'm going to show you how to edit it. Let's go over to the other app that I showed you. I'm just going to find it. Teleprompter. This does have grid lines. This teleprompter, like I said, I've used lots of them and it's probably one of the best. I can move it along, I can move it up and down. You've got a lot more control in here. And there's my green dot. So my green dot is just here. So I want to make sure that I'm reading it and it's pushed over to the side as much. Now, to make it voice activated, you're just going to click this little person here. And now that's voice activated. So I'm going to press go. I can see I'm going to get my eyes up. Having a sales video can increase conversions by 80%, yet your launch is weeks away and you still don't have one? You feel pretty organized, and I'm just going to go off script here now because it's voice activated. What you're going to see is that I could talk. So if, for example, I was doing my podcast, I could have my bullet points here and then I could say what I wanted about that bullet point, and then I could actually come back in when I'm ready, but that sales video is still on your to-do list. You might not like how you look and sound on camera, and editing's like hiking up a mountain in hills. Slow, painful, and best avoided. Okay, and there's my video. And then I'm just going to save it to photos. This is why framing is really important, because I wasn't framing myself how I would normally do it. And then I'm going to allow. Cool. And then it's in my phone ready to edit tomorrow. So I'm just going to stop sharing. How are we going? That's so cool. I love this one. Wow, love that. My head hurts, Nolene. Okay, so that's using a teleprompter. I'm just going to stop sharing for a second. Here's my thing, is using a teleprompter will make you sound more professional and much more confident on camera. The beautiful thing about that is that it cuts out all the ums and ahs. The other thing, and I think Nolene brought it up yesterday, is that I film outdoors, and for those people that like to film in blocks of footage, you can break your script down into segments. So if I come back to that storyboard, if you can remember that line, just film that line. Stop. Remember that line, film that line. Stop. Okay? If you're going to do it like that without a teleprompter and memorize each part of the section, change the shot every single time. I did a video the other day of me just walking in and out of frame. I don't know whether anyone saw that. Stacey saw that. And I literally had my script in my notes, went out on the street and just walked into frame each time. So if you change up the frame and you're outdoors, like, you know, Nolene said she was, that's a great way. And I'm thinking a cat too, because you've got all these different settings. The other thing to do is that even if you just read the script, we can layer over B-roll to cut all those little cuts. And I'll show you that tomorrow. But remember, if we're using freestyle, can you use bullet points on the teleprompter? Yes. Absolutely. That voice activated one, Ron, allows you to just put bullet points because it's voice activated.
So you wanted to do separate little videos for each little
I personally, I'm not going to, unless you're confident to do it that way, do it that way. What I'm saying to you is copy your script into a teleprompter and just read it off there. Because our goal,
one whole big video. Or you do that.
Film that whole big video, yeah.
Okay,
Are you going to be filming in your desk? You're going to film like in your office there, which you showed, Gabrielle?
Oh, it's out by the kitchen table where I had the natural light, but I'll find somewhere to try and set up the lighting the way that you have. But
every time you change scenes, you have to reset lighting.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you're outdoors, okay, and you're moving around and beautiful, go do it. But what I'm going to say, remember, first of all, done is better than perfect, and then we nail it. What I'm going to say to everyone, if you just start with a teleprompter and you go through that process of doing a teleprompter, then you will get a video done and you'll have it easier, ready to edit tomorrow. I know, like, if you're not used to being on camera, you'll and ah and all the things, it's more editing. I want to show you tomorrow when we edit how you can add lots of emotion to your story with graphics and B-roll rather than actually focusing on, is your script clunky? Because now we've got to edit out. See, Belinda, now we've got to edit out all the ums and ahs and fluff. So if you're confident and you want to change scenes and play with that, I'm saying you do you, boo. It's like...
No, I'm definitely going to use a teleprompter, but I just, for editing, what's the best way? Do you want me to just read the whole script?
Read the whole script.
Just
read the whole script.
Yep, cool.
Yep. That's my highest recommendation for everyone to do this, unless you're more confident in doing bits and pieces, because when you read the script, we can still make a narration style video tomorrow with B-roll over the top.
Yeah, okay.
But if we don't have anything to tell the story, then we're not going to convert. Cool. And so my goal for you is to have something ready to go tomorrow that we can use and have the practice that you get something done.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, for sure. So who's going to give that a go? Amazing.
I just downloaded the teleprompter one.
Yeah. So tomorrow we're going to use CapCut on our desktop. Now you can use the free version of that. In the video, in the emails that have gone out, I believe, Rose, tell me if I'm wrong, there should have been a link to download the CapCut and how to install it. There are two versions. There's a browser version and the web app. Use the web app. That's what we'll use. So I will send out this afternoon when you get the replay anyway, you'll get an email with there's actually a video that's up on my I'll just quickly show you. If you go to my YouTube channel, this one here, how to install. For just 37. So how to install CapCut on your desktop. It's a 4-minute video showing you the difference between the two and how to set it up. And there's also another video here, how to set up your brand kit as well. So you can actually install your assets in there, such as your fonts, your colors, any graphics, logos, music, all that stuff. CapCut on our desktop is an absolute game changer. I was trying to edit a video in bed this morning on my phone and I'm like, So it's great for convenience, but why I use CapCut as well is because I can start using my phone and then I can transfer it over to my desktop as well. If you haven't already, subscribe to my channel. Do you like that plug? Okay, so I'm just going to stop recording now and then we can open the floor up for Q&A. So thank you so much for everyone joining us today. Tomorrow we're going to do editing and I've got some little surprises for people as well who get their video recorded. I'm going to have, a couple of little gift surprises for people who get their video recorded, ready to edit tomorrow. Thank you for joining me for today.